Guys, welcome back to the Random Podcast. I'm Blakely.
And I'm Brandon.
Today we are talking and reviewing about Captain America 4, The Brave New World.
That's close. There's no number in it.
Yeah, but I wanted the people to know what number order we are in Captain America.
I'm sure they knew at this point.
So today, well, let's get into it. What was your expectations in this movie?
I had none. It was really low because when it comes to Captain America, I don't have the comic book knowledge on it. Like, I know Sam. I don't even think Sam's been Captain America in the comics, but I think less than 20 years. Mm-hmm. Red Hulk, almost nothing other than he is Hulk with a red tint. And I don't know if like some of the side characters are actual Captain America comic book characters, or you know how like in some of them they'll bring in somebody else, like when Natasha, Black Widow, and others. And as far as I know, what was his name? The new Falcon. I know his real name, but I can't remember. I think he's even newer than Sam as Captain America. So mine were not very high.
I think we were in the same boat. We're saying the same thing, I do believe. I don't want to reiterate what you said.
Yeah, I mean, it'd just be a lot of reiteration between the two of us.
I guess we already talked about initial expectations and stuff. What would you think was the strengths of this movie?
I kind of feel like they went more, like, I don't want to say darker tone, but I like how it went more back to Captain America 1 and 2. Unlike some of the previous and other franchises where it's gotten a little bit more of a comedic tone. Mm-hmm. I like how this was more like Winter Soldier with the tones of darker. Which I don't want to really get into spoilers too much, even though by the time this comes out, it'll be out about 10 days. We just got to figure out when we're going to put it out. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. I'll go ahead and do spoiler alert. And I'll put it in the title, spoiler alert. Bucky does show up for like, what did you say, about 3 minutes?
3, yeah.
And then he's talked about it another time. I would say that was what was the question?
The strengths.
Okay. I would say the story, the tone, and the overall acting experience was
Harrison Ford was really good. I guess we'll get into my strengths. I really liked Harrison Ford. He played a good Thunderbolt Ross. Yeah. I think the acting all the way did good. I think Anthony Mackie as the new Captain America, I think really, to me, didn't miss a beat.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time to get used to the new Falcon. I think that's what everybody will say that.
I don't feel like they gave him enough to do.
No.
Which that might be in our next thing we ask, but.
We'll get onto that because I think we share the same strength beliefs.
Yeah.
What do you feel about was the weakness of the movie?
One of the biggest things, which I kind of just mentioned it, was I kind of feel like Falcon, at times, he was too sidekicky, which I know that's kind of what Falcon is. But, you know, when Anthony Mackie was Falcon, I kind of feel like there was a little bit of an initiative. I feel like we didn't really get that. And maybe that's because it's more of a training and, you know, the character's newer, I guess, for us. So maybe it seems different. And he didn't have the background, really, that Anthony Mackie had. The only other weakness I kind of had was there was a little bit at times of the story I struggled with a little bit. Because my brain went between comics and movie. Even though I don't have a lot of knowledge, I have enough to where I've read up on, you know, especially since right before the movie came out. And then I was trying to think of what this might have mattered in one of the previous movies. Mm-hmm. So that was more my weakness, not really the movie.
The main weakness I had in the movie was I wish they went more on to more of the Widow in my experience.
Which in case y'all don't know that, she's the head of like his defense. No,
security.
I don't know if he said head of security, But I wouldn't say Secret Service. I was thinking that was the other woman that was.
She was the head of the Secret Service,
right?
But she's head of some sort of security,
right? They put too much of like a thing in your ear for her to where it was like.
I wish we got more of her. We agree on a lot of the weaknesses, but to me, I wish they went more into her because to me, there's a character there they could do. Maybe not like in the whole MCU, but at least in the Captain America fan world.
Probably even TV show if they do something.
Yeah. Who would you say was your standout performance?
Oh, Harrison Ford, easily. And the reason I say that, I feel like he had to act more than some of the others because he was playing two parts. And I think the thing is, too, we didn't really get Red Hulk until way over halfway. I would say... because I didn't say 2-hour movie, we didn't get it until like an hour and a half in. But the way it led up to it, his acting that he had to constantly do, I will say there was twice in there I saw Indiana Jones, just by his voice and tone, and Jack Ryan, from the Jack Ryan movies where he played in 2 of them. And I even saw a little bit of Han Solo, but that's just from. But I felt like he carried the movie. Like, everybody did good, but he carried it for me. I would say him and then leader right behind it. Tim Blake Nelson did a great job, too.
I think we're the same thing. But I'm going to put, since I want some different... was it Esposito? You know who I'm talking
about. Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, to me... Now, he had a little part... He had little parts of the movie, but he really stood out to me. I think he really did good. Especially since he was a late addition to the movie, I think he was a stand-up performer, and I would like to see more. What about special effects plus story?
The special effects were great during like
the fight scenes,
but I'm talking like the big fight scenes, like where you had him and Red Hulk or the air fighting sequence. I would say it was not as good when you had him against Standard. But I think that was more of a plot issue. Like, I've always had an issue with, I don't want to say he handled Red Hulk easily, but he seemed to fight him better than he did Standard 3-on-1, which makes no sense to me. But that's always been an issue in movies, I think, in general. But honestly, the special effects, I even thought Red Hulk CGI was actually really good.
That's what
But I'm not good at determining that. Sometimes.
That was one thing I was worried about, is how the CGI would look.
Because I think that is one thing that they went and redid it twice.
I think so. The story, the story was good, but you can tell what they had to reshoot.
They had a couple holes.
Yeah. That's what some of the expectation, Story was good. Like, just reiterating what you already said about it.
Wouldn't you say? I would say, now that I think about it, there was probably 2 spots where they kind of dragged out information. Like, at one point earlier in the movie, they were trying to figure out the buyer and the point, but then they finally got to it, like, to me, too late when we sitting there and we're kind of like, okay, well, we already know who the buyer is.
Yeah,
so.
At a pointless time where he went to go talk to Sidewinder. We really didn't need that.
No, because some of it was good information, but you kind of already gathered that.
But I mean,
through the
spoiler
process.
Or I mean, later on, it showed I can't remember the guy's name, but Falcon did a little test to see if there was anybody.
Oh yeah.
Now that led to further down.
Yeah, those were the SEALs.
Yeah, but what would your grade be for the movie?
Well, a little bit before that, as a spoiler, I will tell you, you don't have to watch the whole movie, but there is stuff from Eternals. And there is stuff from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Not saying you got to watch it all, but just keep in mind that if you want to do like a short read through, like a Cliff Notes of those 2. And just as a reiterate, as kind of a steal, the guy that played Isaiah, I don't know his real name. That's the other Captain America. The missing Captain America, I guess is what they kind of called him.
Mm-hmm.
He did a phenomenal job. I would say he was right behind Harrison Ford for that.
Yeah.
My overall grade, and we talked about this, is a B+. And the only reason I say B+ and it's not higher is because to me it was a good action. It was a good action film. Even if you don't like the story or dialogue, the action was there. It would get higher, but I tend to grade superhero movies a lot harder than I do regular action.
I give it a B plus for the same thing. The action was good. To me, the camera work was pretty good on some shots. Especially the shot where they're going into that little base area where Sterling was at, I think was really good. How they kept Sterling in the dark until that scene.
Yeah. I like the eye glow. The eye glow was nice.
I'm excited to see what else they do with Ross and with Sterling, because I don't think we're done seeing Sterling.
And we will not talk about the post-credit scene. We'll leave that out.
Yeah.
But just for a spoiler, the post-credit scene is after all of the run-up.
It's after the credits, everything.
All the credits. There is no more than one.
But I give it a B grade. B plus grade.
The B plus.
That's 3 Bs. What is your most memorable, I guess, moment from the movie?
I would say him hulking out. Because it wasn't just like that. It was... It reminded me of like the older TV show, how he would gradually get bigger. The Lou Ferrigno, Bill Bixby show, like, what, 80s? Or was that 70s? That might have been 70s.
One of those two.
Because to me, in the Incredible Hulk movies, well, now, the Edward Norton, he kind of hulked up slow. But I like that. I would say that's my thing. Him becoming Red Hulk and the fight was really good.
Mine is when they're fighting in the blossom tree.
Yeah.
That scene right there where they're on is it an island they're on?
No, I mean they're at the White House.
Yeah.
So that's Washington D.C.
That I think that would be memorable, and the blowback that happens once the wings and then it would blew back, and then him, that scene where the time when they're talking about. And then he calms down, and you can see he still has a battle and stuff. That was really good.
Well, see, I would say that's where the makeup and visual effects comes in, too. That's really good.
Yeah.
So, but no, I would say if you get a chance to watch it, watch it.
I would say it's a movie you could go watch in the theaters.
Yeah. Go in reviewless, but watch ours afterwards. That way, But it's one of those go in open-minded. Like, don't use any presets, which is what I try to do with movies. I mean, there was a couple holes in there. I think that would bring it down to B+, but nothing that is, like, earth-shattering.
Yeah.
But I do recommend it.
Yeah, I recommend going to the theaters and see it with a buddy, if you have a person to go see the movie with.
Now it's getting sad.
But I would recommend getting the popcorn, get you a drink, and go to the theaters and see it.
With a nice chair.
With a nice chair.
But
a nice sound system.
But there were a couple of times, I don't think it was a sound system. I think a couple of times during the movie, they spoke too soft. And that could have been on purpose. I don't know. But yeah, go check it out. We'll have more reviews in the future.
What's the next movie we're seeing?
We're not 100% sure. It could be Novocaine, but there's some stuff that has creeped out.
Yeah.
That might end up happening that we did not realize what was going on.
Okay.
So, but until next time, like, share, subscribe, tell us what you think. But until then, we'll see you later.
Peace.